Kansas beats undefeated Baylor in Big
I guess,
12 play.
yeah, I guess they're not undefeated anymore though.
Formerly undefeated. Formerly undefeated.
Formally.
All right. So Baylor at number 2, who's been destroying teams all year, finally falls to number 17, Kansas. In Calvin, I got to call you out on this earlier because you said you were surprised that it would be Kansas that would take them down. Please explain a little bit more.
Honestly, like most of what it comes down to is just like if I was to pick a team like in the conference that would have been able to get Baylor, it wouldn't have been Kansas. Not necessarily because like Kansas isn't good, even though like they're not as good as they usually are, right? But like just because like for most of the year, I think like Texas is ranked below them now, but like for most of the year, like Texas has been a better team.
Yeah.
I think West Virginia is currently in like the top 10. Like it's like, well, in fairness, I think that game got canceled or something, postponed. But it's just like there's some teams that have kind of been playing better than Kansas over the course of the year that I would have been like they're probably more likely to get Baylor. But that's why you play the game.
Yeah, exactly. But this was like a weirdly good still Baylor game. Like even though they lost by like 13 points, like when you look at the stats, they did a really good job of stifling Kansas's defense at some point. But Kansas just made a lot of shots. Like Kansas shot 51% from the field, but they only had 49 attempts, which is kind of ridiculous. But when you look at the rebounding battle, it actually makes a ton of sense. Both teams did really good on like the offensive boards. Baylor had 11, Kansas had 12, but Kansas had 43 rebounds.
Yeah.
To Baylor's 25.
Baylor. Oh, and another interesting thing, Kansas also apparently turned the ball over 14 times. Baylor only turned it over 3.
Like this is like by the numbers outside of like shooting because they couldn't hit the broadside of the bar from anywhere on the court with the 6 of 26 shooting from 3-point line for 23%, and then we're looking at 23 of 66 for 35%.
Like it was a rough game for Baylor.
Yeah, but the fact that you like, as far as production goes, they like chopped off 25% of Kansas's shots. Like Kansas averages like 66 shots a game. They got 49. Like this is, I'm surprised they lost after looking at the numbers. But when you look at the way Kansas's team is made up, even though they're not like super good this year or like talented, I don't know why we keep doing that. Like not all of those dudes are like 3 or 4 star recruits at the bare minimum. But like the shortest dude that they play regularly is like 6'1". Like their starting lineup for this game was Marcus Garrett, who's 6'4", 6'5", Abaji, who's 6'5", Christian Braun, who's about 6'6". They got Jalen Wilson starting at the 4, who's 6'8", and then they got Devin McCormick, who's 6'10". That's a big lineup. That's NBA size on your starters. And then you got Mitch Lightfoot coming off the bench at 6'10". Bryce Thompson is back at 6'5". And then Tristan in Runa. Like I don't mean to butcher his name, but I your boy's from Missouri. We don't get names like this. But even that dude is 6'9". Like, there's a lot of size on this Kansas team, and Baylor isn't exactly made up the same way. They start 4 guards. Like, Mark Vital is like a really big dude at like 6'5", all that big back and whatnot, but is he really going to stop David McCormick? And if he does start David McCormick, then you also got to worry about Jalen Wilson, who can take you inside and out, and then everybody else is just kind of like has the NBA size. Like you kind of get one over on that size advantage, and I think that's where we see like that big rebound differential. Like that is nuts. really impressed that Baylor got like basically half of their rebounds are offensive rebounds from that game. That's a really weird stat that I can't quite wrap my head around.
Like, I don't know, but it's also just it's I don't know, it's kind of a weird game. Um, Granted, like maybe what also affected it is I guess Baylor's had multiple periods in season where like they more or less had to stop a lot of their stuff because of like COVID stuff, and like that might have played a role in their not being able to shoot. I'm just saying, but like they also, but another thing is like they like Kansas beat them here, but Kansas also lost to them earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And like they've been beating up on folks all season pretty much. So it's I don't know, but if you're Kansas, it's like a win's a win. It is
Exactly.
what it is. Like you take it, you go on.
Bro, as a Kansas fan, I was there through the crazy almost 2 decade streak of just winning conference championship after conference championship. I don't know when the next time we're gonna win a conference championship. Just like looking at how we've been recruiting, like yes, we always have the same size. We always have like really skilled players. Like everybody that I listed is they can do a lot. They work on both sides of the floor. But it's just kind of been a minute since we've had like one of those ridiculous recruiting classes that we were getting for a while. You remember when we was getting like Andrew Wiggins and stuff? Like when that was kind of normal. Like this was the place for 5-star forwards and big men who wanted to develop. And it's still forwards and guys who want to develop. It's just a different caliber of dude. And I feel like Texas is caught up on the recruiting trail. Mike Boynton and what they're doing down in Oklahoma, they're going to be able to steal dudes for years to come, especially with this Dallas to Oklahoma State pipeline. It's ridiculous. And then what? Baylor is not going to slow down anytime soon. And some of the recruits that we're hearing about down this way, if those dudes go to Baylor in 2022, outside of the crazy recruiting class that they're about to have this year, I don't know the next time Kansas really gets a chance to dominate Big 12 play. I think they are always going to be contenders in our minds, but I think the ship might have sailed for the next 4 to 5 years unless recruiting changes.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, at least as far as the recruiting class for next year is currently ranked at 38th on 24/7 Sports, which I don't know. I'm a little surprised by, but like Michigan's done some really good recruiting. They have some players coming that I've gotten to see and I like. Florida State's is up there. Villanova, because Villanova, I guess. Kentucky, Louisville, yeah. Memphis. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just like Colorado supposedly has a better recruiting class than them right now.
I'm usually really up on like who's Kansas's commit is. Like I don't know who they have inked right now, to be completely honest with you. Like I think it's a guard, but I'm not sure who or even like where he's ranked in.
So all the dudes that they currently have committed are considered to be power forwards, but a 6'9" Zach Clements, 6'7" KJ Adams, and a Sidney Curry out of JUCO, 6'8".
All right. So Sidney Curry is actually the only dude from that list I do not know. I have watched Zach Clements intimately for like the past 2 weeks with like different things for Sunrise Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And KJ Adams is another Texas kid. So I've watched that dude extensively, probably over the past like 2 summers. Um, they're both going to be really good. I really want to see KJ diversify his game a little bit more outside of the bully ball, because I think at 6'6" it's going to be really hard for him to dominate the same way, or because I think he's going to still be really effective despite the size. Just for like a full role in what I would like to see out of his career and what he can do with his athleticism, definitely want to see him move to the forward. But Zach Clements, if anybody likes Mitch Lightfoot, like I do, I got a soft spot for Lightfoot. That was like one of the last recruiting classes. I was like, I like this little Lightfoot kid. But if you like what Mitch Lightfoot does from like a body perspective, 6'10", like just ramp that up with Zach Clements. Because that dude can shoot in moves like a gazelle at 6'10". Like he's fun. But that is, again, those are not the game-changing dudes where I think that changes Kansas's outlook to be the top of the Big 12. Right. Next time.
It might just be a wait and see thing, because like some dude you turn out to be like under recruited or underranked and what have you.
Yeah.
And so like, who knows? Maybe they get there. And also something that I saw with like Wiseman, for example, is like dudes can come in freshman year looking a lot better than they did as seniors in high school.
Very true. Very true. And I could definitely see that happening for either one of them. Zach is in a great program with Sunrise Christian, and KJ is just, that boy's an animal. So if he just needs if somebody telling him he need to go do something, I think he can do that.
Once again, Calvin McGowan, hope you enjoyed yourself. If you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.